World War Hulk. World War Hulk emerged after the Illuminati exiled Bruce Banner to Sakaar, where he found peace, love, and purpose as a gladiator king, only to lose everything when his ship exploded, killing his pregnant wife and triggering the most catastrophic rage the Green Giant had ever experienced. Returning to Earth in 2007's World War Hulk storyline written by Greg Pak, this version of the Hulk wore gladiator armor from his time on Sakaar and possessed strength levels that surpassed every previous incarnation, with his footsteps literally registering on seismographs and causing earthquakes across New York City. What made this Hulk truly terrifying wasn't just his raw power, but the combination of infinite rage with tactical intelligence, allowing him to systematically defeat Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and nearly the entire roster of Earth's heroes. His skin appeared darker, more intense green than the standard Hulk, and his eyes burned with focused fury rather than mindless anger. The battle only ended when Sentry fought him to mutual exhaustion, with both reverting to human form. World War Hulk demonstrated what happens when the strongest there is gains not just motivation, but direction, making him less a mindless monster and more an unstoppable force of vengeance that even Earth's mightiest heroes feared to face. Rune King Thor. Rune King Thor achieved godhood beyond godhood during the 2004 Avengers Disassembled storyline written by Michael Avon Oeming, when Thor made the ultimate sacrifice by hanging himself from Yggdrasil for 9 days and surrendering both his eyes, mirroring Odin's ancient quest for wisdom, to gain mastery over the primordial runes that control reality itself. This transformation combined the inherited Odin force with ancient runic magic, elevating Thor beyond the physical limitations of even Asgardian gods, and allowing him to perceive and manipulate the very threads of destiny that weave through existence. His appearance changed dramatically as he wore tattered gray robes instead of his iconic armor, his face eyeless and bearded, with golden runic symbols constantly floating and circling around his form like living equations of power. Rune King. Thor could erase beings from existence with simple gestures, see all possible futures simultaneously, and ultimately defeated those who sit above in shadow, mysterious entities that existed above the gods themselves and fed on the endless cycle of Ragnarok. The true measure of his power came not in battle, but in consequence, as he permanently ended the cycle of Ragnarok that had plagued Asgard for eternity, then chose to abandon this god-tier power and enter a deep sleep, recognizing that existence at such a transcendent level rendered life itself meaningless. Old King Phoenix Thor. Old King Phoenix Thor represents the ultimate evolution of the God of Thunder in Jason Aaron's 2019 King Thor storyline, depicting a far future timeline where an elderly, battle-scarred Thor has outlived nearly everyone he loved and inherited, not just the Odin Force, but also became the final host of the Phoenix Force in a dying universe. This version features a gray-bearded Thor with one eye missing and one arm replaced by a mechanical prosthetic, wearing tattered royal robes that barely contain the merged power of Asgardian magic and cosmic phoenix energy, creating a unique combination of blue lightning and orange-gold flames that crackle around his weathered form. His granddaughters serve as the last Valkyries in this timeline, and he faces threats like Doom the Living Planet at the literal end of time itself, wielding power that eclipses normal cosmic entities through sheer accumulated might and eons of experience. The visual spectacle of this character shows phoenix flames in orange and gold mixing with Thor's traditional blue lightning, all emanating from an ancient king who has survived everything the universe could throw at him, including the heat death of reality itself. What makes Old King Phoenix Thor truly powerful isn't just the combination of forces he commands, but the weight of grief, wisdom, and determination earned through countless ages of loss and battle. Ultimately, this version of Thor chooses to use his cosmic power to restart the universe entirely, sacrificing himself to give existence another chance, rather than rule over a dead cosmos as its final god. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider represents one of Marvel's most bizarre power combinations, featuring Frank Castle, the Punisher, who became Ghost Rider after making a deal with Mephisto, then received the Power Cosmic from Galactus, and finally served Thanos in an alternate timeline explored in Donny Cates' 2018 miniseries. This triple threat merger occurred in a post-apocalyptic timeline where Thanos had won and Castle was literally the last human alive on Earth, surviving alone for eons until Galactus arrived and offered him a chance to become a herald. The visual result is striking: a flaming skull wreathed in both orange hellfire and silver cosmic energy, wearing black leather and wrapped in chains that glow with both demonic flame and starlight, riding a cosmic motorcycle through the vacuum of space itself. His powers include the Ghost Rider's penance, stare, amplified by cosmic energy, the ability to travel through time freely using the Power Cosmic, and functional immortality that allowed him to survive the literal heat death of the universe. However, centuries of isolation and grief drove Castle completely insane, creating a character who combines ruthless Punisher efficiency with spirit of vengeance, judgment, and cosmic-level power, all filtered through a fractured psyche. His storyline takes a darkly comedic turn when he travels back in time, intending to kill baby Thanos, can't bring himself to do it, and instead attempts to raise the Mad Titan as a hero, which predictably fails spectacularly and shows how even godlike power can't fix fundamental character flaws or undo cosmic destiny. Maestro. Maestro represents the darkest possible future for the Hulk. First appearing in Peter David's 1992 Future Imperfect storyline as a version of Bruce Banner, who absorbed a fatal dose of radiation that killed Banner's consciousness, but made the Hulk functionally immortal, allowing the Green Giant's strength to grow unchecked for decades while retaining Banner's genius intellect permanently. This tyrannical ruler conquered a post-nuclear war Earth and established a kingdom called Dystopia, where he sits on a throne surrounded by trophies collected from defeated heroes and villains, including Captain America's shield, Thor's hammer Mjolnir, and Doctor Doom's mask, each representing a fallen legend. Visually, Maestro appears even more massive than the standard Hulk, with a grayish-green skin tone, long wild gray hair and beard, a face marked with scars from countless battles, and an aged appearance that somehow makes him more menacing rather than weaker. His strength surpasses World War Hulk because he's had literal decades for his power to increase, combined with tactical genius that makes him nearly impossible to outmaneuver or defeat through strategy. The truly horrifying aspect of Maestro isn't just his power, but what he represents. Banner's greatest fear realized, showing what happens when Hulk's strength merges with human intelligence, but loses all morality and compassion in the process. Rick Jones eventually brought a young Hulk from the past to fight him, recognizing that only the Hulk himself stood any chance against this monstrous future version, and even that confrontation nearly failed, requiring clever use of time travel technology rather than pure strength to finally defeat the tyrant king of a ruined world, God Emperor Doom. God Emperor Doom achieved true divinity during Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars event, when Dr. Doom successfully stole the reality-warping power of the Beyonders, immensely powerful entities from beyond the multiverse, and used that stolen might to recreate all of existence as Battleworld, a patchwork planet stitched together from fragments of destroyed universes, with himself installed as the literal god worshipped by all inhabitants. Wearing brilliant white and gold ornate armor while still keeping his iconic mask even in godhood, symbolizing how his psychological scars remained despite omnipotence, Doom ruled over a reality where Doctor Strange served as his sheriff. Various versions of Thor acted as police, wielding fragments of Mjolnir, and he even took Sue Storm as his wife in this recreated cosmos. His powers at this level included reshaping reality with mere thoughts, unmaking and remaking beings at will, and maintaining absolute control over the laws of physics themselves across an entire patchwork universe composed of different realities mashed together. What makes God Emperor Doom fascinating isn't just the scope of his power, but the tragedy underlying it. Even with omnipotence, Doom remained driven by ego, insecurity, and the need to prove himself superior to Reed Richards, his eternal rival. The storyline ultimately demonstrates that power was never Doom's real problem when Reed Richards defeats him, not through superior force, but by showing him that a better universe could exist, forcing Doom to admit that Richards would have done a better job as God, a confession that breaks his hold on reality more effectively than any weapon could. King in Black Venom. King in Black Venom represents Eddie Brock's ascension to cosmic godhood after defeating Null, the dark god who created all symbiotes, during Donny Cates' 2020 King in Black event, where Eddie claimed the throne as the new King in Black and gained dominion over every symbiote organism across the entire universe. This transformation granted Brock telepathic control over all symbiotes simultaneously, the ability to create and destroy symbiote life at will, and wielded All Black the Necrosword, the primordial weapon that Null had originally used to decapitate a Celestial at the dawn of time. Visually, King in Black Venom appears in massive black armor with the iconic white spider symbol prominently displayed, accented with gold and white trim, massive dragon-like wings made of living symbiote material, glowing white eyes, and the reformed Necrosword in hand, all radiating an aura of dark majesty. His power level at this point rivaled Celestials and other cosmic entities, commanding symbiote armies across galaxies, and fundamentally reforming the entire symbiote species from parasitic creatures into beings capable of heroism and bonding with hosts as true partners rather than exploiters. What makes this version remarkable is that Eddie Brock, despite achieving godhood and commanding universe-spanning power, remained fundamentally himself, using his newfound abilities to unite Earth's heroes against Null, and ultimately choosing to separate from the absolute power of the King in Black title rather than rule as a cosmic tyrant. The storyline represented the first time Venom operated as a hero on a truly cosmic scale, proving that even street-level characters can achieve god-tier status while maintaining their core identity and moral compass. Phoenix Force Jean Grey. Phoenix Force Jean Grey, as the White Phoenix of the Crown, represents the truest and most powerful manifestation of the cosmic Phoenix Force, merged with an Omega-level mutant, specifically during storylines like the 2005 X-Men Phoenix Endsong series, where Jean achieves full willing partnership with the Phoenix rather than being corrupted by it as Dark Phoenix. This version appears in a white and gold costume instead of the traditional green and gold, with her red hair floating in cosmic energy and the massive Phoenix Raptor made of white-hot fire and light surrounding her entire form as she operates from the white-hot room, a space that exists outside normal space-time. Her powers at this level include control over life and death on a universal scale, the ability to exist across all timelines simultaneously, resurrection of anyone or anything she chooses, and the capacity to literally rewrite existence itself from outside the timeline, which she used to ensure mutants would survive and thrive. Unlike the Dark Phoenix corruption that consumed and destroyed Jean, the White Phoenix of the Crown demonstrates what the Phoenix Force was always meant to be: a force of renewal, rebirth, and cosmic balance, with Jean serving as its willing avatar and true partner rather than a victim losing control. The visual spectacle shows white-hot flames instead of orange-red fire, with reality fragmenting and healing simultaneously around her as she wields power that burns away what doesn't work and renews what should survive. Jean Grey remains one of the few Phoenix Force hosts to achieve complete mastery over its power, proving that the Force itself isn't inherently evil, but rather depends entirely on the host's ability to accept its purpose as an agent of cosmic transformation and rebirth rather than trying to control or suppress it. Infinity Gauntlet Thanos. Infinity Gauntlet. Thanos achieved near omnipotence in Jim Starlin's classic 1991 storyline by assembling all 6 Infinity Stones into the Golden Gauntlet: the Purple Power Stone, Blue Space Stone, Red Reality Stone, Yellow Mind Stone, Orange Soul Stone, and Green Time Stone, granting him simultaneous control over every fundamental aspect of existence. With this combined power, Thanos defeated cosmic entities, including Eternity, Galactus, and multiple Celestials, famously snapping his fingers to erase half of all life in the universe instantly, as an offering to Death, whom he loved, sitting on a throne in space, surrounded by the defeated abstract beings who normally govern reality itself. The visual image of the Golden Gauntlet glowing with 6 different colored gems on Thanos' left hand, while he wears his blue and gold armor, has become one of Marvel's most iconic images, representing the moment a mortal being achieved power that rivaled the very architects of creation. What makes this version fascinating isn't just the scope of his power, but his ultimate failure, as Thanos subconsciously sabotaged himself because he fundamentally believed he didn't deserve victory, a psychological weakness that even omnipotence couldn't overcome. Adam Warlock eventually tricked him into abandoning the gauntlet by convincing him to become pure spirit and leave his body behind, which required releasing the Infinity Stones, proving that the greatest limitation on infinite power isn't external opposition, but internal doubt and unworthiness. The storyline established that possessing godlike abilities doesn't guarantee success if the wielder's psychology remains flawed. And even when Thanos literally became the universe itself by absorbing eternity, his own nature prevented him from maintaining that transcendent state. Sentry. Sentry represents Robert Reynolds, a hero whose power was described as that of a million exploding suns, introduced in Paul Jenkins' 2000 miniseries, and later explored extensively by Brian Michael Bendis, combining Superman-level abilities with severe mental illness that made him simultaneously Earth's most powerful hero and its most dangerous liability. His powers include molecular manipulation at the atomic level, flight at or beyond light speed, the ability to resurrect himself multiple times, and reality-warping capabilities generated through sheer power output, all while battling his dark half known as the Void that emerged from his fractured psyche. Visually, Sentry appears in a blue costume with gold trim and a sunburst symbol on his chest, blonde hair glowing with energy, and a brilliant gold aura radiating from his entire body, though dark void tendrils occasionally emerge to show his psychological instability, manifesting physically. His most famous feats include literally ripping the symbiote villain Carnage in half by flying into space, fighting World War Hulk to a complete standstill when no other hero could slow the Green Giant down, and demonstrating strength that made even Thor and Wonder Man seem weak by comparison. The tragedy of Sentry is that he possessed potentially infinite power, but lacked the mental stability to wield it safely, with his schizophrenia and guilt creating the Void as a manifestation of his self-destructive tendencies and fear of his own abilities. Thor ultimately killed Sentry after he completely lost control during the Siege storyline, recognizing that Robert Reynolds had become too dangerous to exist, representing the ultimate cautionary tale about godlike power combined with human mental fragility, and proving that sometimes the greatest threat isn't external villains, but internal demons that no amount of strength can defeat. Hydra Supreme Captain America. Hydra Supreme. Captain America emerged from Nick Spencer's controversial 2017 Secret Empire storyline when the sentient cosmic cube fragment named Kobik rewrote Steve Rogers' entire history, making him a Hydra loyalist from birth, rather than the symbol of American ideals, and granting him reality-warping powers through his connection to Kobik's cube abilities. This version wore a dark blue and black Captain America suit, with a green Hydra emblem replacing the star, wielded his shield emblazoned with Hydra's symbol, and temporarily proved worthy to lift Mjolnir under his altered history, demonstrating that worthiness depends on one's reality rather than absolute morality. His powers combined Captain America's legendary tactical genius with planetary-scale reality alteration, allowing him to trap heroes in a Dark Force dimension prison, unite villains under Hydra's banner, and nearly conquer Earth by establishing a fascist state called New Tian that covered America. What made HydraCap truly dangerous wasn't just his cosmic cube powers, but his strategic brilliance applied without moral restraint, using manipulation and careful planning to achieve through cunning what he couldn't accomplish through force alone, proving more effective as a villain than most cosmic-powered threats. The storyline remains controversial among fans for depicting America's greatest hero as a fascist dictator, though it ultimately showed that even completely rewritten history couldn't permanently corrupt Steve Rogers' true nature when Kobik restored reality. His defeat came not through superior force, but through the restoration of true history. As the real Steve Rogers emerged to fight his Hydra counterpart, demonstrating that ideology and identity matter more than raw power when defining who someone truly is at their core. Living Tribunal. Living Tribunal stands as Marvel's ultimate cosmic arbiter, first appearing in 1967's Strange Tales. Issue 157, created by Stan Lee and Marie Severin, serving as a multiversal judge who answers only to the one above all, Marvel's representation of the supreme creator deity, and whose power exceeds even completed Infinity Gauntlets, abstract entities, and celestials. This being appears as a massive, golden entity sized relative to galaxies rather than planets, featuring 3 faces on a single head that speak simultaneously, representing equity, necessity, and vengeance, with a 4th face meant to represent the one above all, always kept hidden from view, floating in the cosmic void without a visible body. The Living Tribunal's role involves judging entire universes and realities, with the authority to destroy or preserve complete multiverses based on whether they serve the greater cosmic balance, making decisions that affect trillions of beings across infinite timelines without hesitation or mercy. Even characters wielding the Infinity Gauntlet are subject to the Living Tribunal's authority, as the Gauntlet's power only functions within a single universe, while the Tribunal operates across the entire multiverse simultaneously, representing a level of cosmic hierarchy that makes planetary or even universal threats seem insignificant. The entity has no physical weaknesses in the traditional sense, and exists more as a manifestation of cosmic law than a being that can be fought or defeated through conventional means. Though the Beyonders managed to kill the Living Tribunal during Jonathan Hickman's run, an event that signaled universe-ending threat levels. The Living Tribunal represents the ultimate authority maintaining order across Marvel's infinite realities, demonstrating that even in a universe filled with gods, cosmic entities, and reality-warping beings, there exists a final judge whose word is absolute law across all existence. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now